So improving as a chess beginner is really, I genuinely think, is one of the most easiest things that you can do. The chess niche itself, okay? When I started to play chess, I was stuck, in contrary to actually what I've said, I was stuck at the 700 elo level like for 3 to 4 months. But I was stuck because I was doing just a repetitive mistake all the time. Okay, and that stopped me from improving. What I've done is I sat down, I analyzed most of my games to see is there a repetitive mistake that I'm making. And what I've also done is at the same time I hired a chess tutor so that he could see if I'm right actually. And it turns out I was. I actually made the same repetitive mistake all the time. Then what I've actually done is I've then showed this to my other 700 elo friend. And his elo, just like happened to mine, also spiked up like very fast. Like, you know, usually when you're playing chess, your elo goes up like this. It goes gradually to improve. My elo went like this. It like it jumped at a certain point, as well as to my friend, because both of us have done like the same repetitive mistake. And I think you're actually doing the same mistake as well. And I'm going to show you, of course, the repetitive mistake so that you could just stop making this and improve very fast. Okay, so here's the first example. We're not going to really dive deep into this position. Okay, just know I've done the move, okay? It was me as white as a beginner. I've done the move pawn to f3, okay? It was when I just started to play the game, okay? After this, I want you to notice this. My opponent has done the move rook to e8, okay? Rook to e8, as you can see, the eval bar is going in my favor because what I've done is, immediately after this move, I was just thinking, oh, okay, wait, what can I do in this position? I was thinking, why would he do this if I can, well, simply take this bishop? It was very unclear to me. And I actually took it, you've done knight to d4 and then just resigned, okay, because I won. Okay, but I'm pretty sure if you're gonna sit down and you're gonna look into the archive of games that you're playing, are there any times that moves like this happen, where you're just focusing on one side of the board and you're neglecting the entirety of it? Then you end up actually in a losing position because you miss a threat, you missed a tactic, you missed a capture. This sort of like category of mistakes, of misses, okay, this time computer takes it as a miss, but I think it's a blunder. It categorizes them as tunnel vision. And so tunnel visions, they're basically like this one movers that you make, like for example here rook to e8, you neglect something else that happens on the board. So you're doing this, you think, okay, I'm going to improve my rook, but you neglect the threat on this bishop. And this is an example that happens, I think, for most beginners. Like, you literally can go to the game archive of your games and see, is there a move like this that ever happens to you? For most beginners, and I'm the biggest example, the answer is yes, okay? That happens for every beginner in chess. And so the sooner that we stop things like this from happening, the easier we're going to have a time improving from beginner to intermediate. Let me now show you the next example, and then I'm of course going to show you how to stop this. Again, here is another example, and we're not going to dive really deep into what happened in these positions, okay? We're just going to dive into the how to stop the blunders problem, okay? Black have done the move bishop to e7, which is a blunder because that stops the queen from being able to come back, okay? And it makes a discovered attack, okay? So you're aiming at this queen with the bishop, okay? You consider this as an inaccuracy, but really, as a beginner, you're not really thinking about this. You're just thinking, okay, I'm gonna take this queen. So don't really put your head into this. Put your head more into the why I've blundered. From here, it's obviously you're losing, okay? But how do you actually stop moves like this from happening? Okay, white has thought to move his knight to f7. Clearly there's better moves from what the computer thinks, but how do you actually come to stop moves like bishop to e7? This is what we want to focus on. How do we stop moves like bishop to e7 from happening in this position and in the last position? So in this position, for example, how do you stop moves like rook to e8 and there moves like bishop to e7? So there is a question process in your head that you need to do. And again, this is the repetitive mistake that most beginners in chess are making. And I truly think if you're gonna now go on in your 700 elo player, 700, 800 around these elo levels, even a little bit below them, you're gonna go to your game archive, you're gonna see all the games that you're playing, and you're gonna ask, what is the repetitive mistake that I'm making in all of these games that essentially means that I'm leveling up and down like this? You're gonna figure out that it is just misses and blunders like this. It's when you're over focusing on one part of the board, okay, neglecting another, like here, Okay, you've neglected the bishop here, okay, because you thought, okay, I'm focusing on here for some reason, okay, I'm not really sure because I don't really remember at the time that I played this game against my opponent, but he was a 900 elo player, so even in higher levels this happens, but for some reason he extremely focused on this part of the board, okay, on improving his rook, and thus neglected his bishop. First of all, understand that you can't just overly focus on one part of the board, because then you're neglecting the broader picture on quotes that is happening. In chess, there's a question process that you're going to ask yourself, which is going to stop you from making moves like rook to e8 here. Flip the board so that you'll have an easier time to understand it. So here and there. So how do you actually stop this? Again, 3-question process. And you can actually do it for, I'm going to do the 4-1, which is better. 1, is my king safe? Okay? Yes, both of the kings are very, very safe on the board. They're not threatened by a checkmate or anything like this. I think this bishop is aiming at the king and queen, but there's no attack, so to say. So 1. Here you're gonna ask yourself before the blunder happens. So here are the kings safe? Yes. Is there anything which is under threat? Yes, this bishop is under threat. It's under a threat from being captured, okay? So we need to solve this first, okay? How do we solve this? And then you're gonna come up with ideas, okay? But the third question is, what can be captured? Again, this bishop is under threat and it can be captured. After you're doing this like question process, okay? And also the fourth is there a tactic? But here it's not really viable. So for you, the 3-question process is my king safe? What is under threat and what can be captured? You're asking yourself this, the kings are safe and the bishop is the only thing that can be captured and is under threat here. So you're gonna think, okay, what do I do? And then you're gonna come up with ideas for yourself for how to solve this, including in the second example in here. Before you're gonna make bishop to e7, you're gonna ask yourself, is there anything under threat if I do this move? And the answer is yes. He could do a move like knight to here, and then threaten your queen from two different sides and your rook. Okay, so if you're gonna try to save your queen, your rook is gonna be done. At this moment, a move like bishop to e7 is not going to happen because you're just like, oh, before you make the move, you're gonna ask yourself this, and then you're gonna just never make a move like here, bishop to e7. Okay, and that is the point I'm trying to make in this video. If you're gonna ask yourself these 3 questions, moves like this will never happen. And that is the easiest and simplest way to improve as a chess beginner. It's just a 3-question process to stop you from blundering, because that is the mistake that most beginners make. Right, so thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will do my best to answer all of them. And also, if you want to really improve your level of play from 700 and upwards, from someone who has already experienced the types of difficulties and problems that you're going to have already faced in the future, then you can consider booking on a call with me so that you could see my coaching program and what it has to offer. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Peace.